Hi folks, John Cordisco back again with another chess video for you. This is a game that I played in over the weekend. This is Monday. I played this on Saturday. In the New York State Open 2014. It's way up in the Adirondacks at Lake George. A beautiful area. I got to walk around the lake a little bit. I've got some video maybe I'll show maybe in this video or another game that I'm going to show, or the town and the big steam paddle boats. It's kind of a cool place. Here it's quite the zoo in the summer. It's the middle of May now, so it was a little quieter, but beautiful place. Beautiful place. If you ever get a chance to go there, please do. This is round one. Mr. Bryant is white and I'm black. Round one is always tough. I mean, you're all ready to go. You're all worked up. You've been thinking about it for days. I drove 3.5 hours to get there. I stayed there the night before, and it's early in the morning. I'm not a morning person, so you know you're trying really hard. And it's game 60. The first two rounds are game 60, which means older guys like me don't have a lot of time. So you've got to just play and try to get a position and work from there. I'm black. Mr. Bryant is white. Now, my usual Scandinavian, and he played e5, and I played e6. Now, what the problem is now for me is this transposed into a French, which I know absolutely zero about. So I'm just winging it. He goes knight to f3, knight to c6. Bishop b5. I block, and he goes d4. From what I understand, this is pretty typical French, which I don't have any clue what typical is, but according to the computer, it's not that far from the normal moves in the position. I move knight here. He went c3, and I went h6. Now, I didn't think that was that big of a deal as far as a bad move goes. It gave it a double question mark. It says, with this move, black loses his initiative. I didn't really know I had an initiative, so I must be doing okay if I had an initiative. And then my opponent plays bishop to e3. And there's another double question mark. It must be the computer was turned up on cranky today or something, because it's really, really being tough. And it says white is ruining his position. Now I went knight to f5. That's a really good spot for that knight. The only thing that chase it away is this pawn, because the light squared bishop is all the way over here. And he goes bishop to f4, trying to save his bishop. It gives him another double question mark. It's just throwing away the advantage. Like I said, it must have been, I'm going to have to check the computer because the sensitivity gauge was turned all the way down. a6, I kicked his bishop. He moves bishop to e2. And I go g5. I went for it. I figured, you know what? I just wanted to go for it. Maybe it was psychological pressure on the guy. He seemed like a nice guy, but you know, he's in the first round too, and I'm in my late 50s. He looked early mid 60s, so I figured, you know what? Let's go after it. Now he goes bishop to c1. Now, the odd part is, look at his queen side. The pawns are, or excuse me, the pieces are on the original squares. So I put bishop to g7. He castled. And I went f6. I'm going to start going after his center pawns. Now at this point I was considering castling queenside. He went h3. I think he wants to stop g5. And I played f takes e5. Now he had a move here that was really, really strange. I don't know why he did it. I don't know why he didn't at least take with the knight or take with a pawn. He moved bishop to d3. And I looked at that and I said, whoa, 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 wait a minute here. What's going on? Am I missing something? And I looked and I looked and I looked, and there's nothing any tricks that I missed. And of course I went e4. I'm going to win a piece for a pawn. Now we're on move 13. I'm thinking, oh man. But I'm notorious for throwing away winning games that I'm winning or basically have won. So I thought to myself psychologically, I went, in your mind going, okay, dummy, just calm down. Don't get too cocky. Don't get too anxious. And he moved the bishop to e2. And pawn takes the knight. He played bishop takes. I can hear my clock in the background. I castled. Now those of you are wondering why did I advance these pawns and I was going to castle? I gave it a lot of thought. I wanted the rook on this file, number one. And I looked at this like a king's Indian position. Those advanced pawns on the king side aren't really that big of a deal. Remember, I'm up a piece. He plays bishop to h5. And I move the bishop back to b8. Now, I don't want to start getting trade-itis here where I start trading everything down because I'm a piece up. But I think I've got a decent position here. I mean, he's got two minor pieces that aren't even developed yet. He moves bishop back to g4. And I went queen to f6. Now, I'm liking this a lot. I got this bishop-queen battery. He's got two pieces fully undeveloped. He can't bring the knight out to here because there's a pawn. If he brings the knight to here, this bishop is still blocked in. I'm feeling pretty good at this point. He went queen to e2. And I went bishop g6. I thought it was a pretty good position. I want to get some of my minor pieces around my king and at the same time try to do some damage to his king side. He finally moves the knight out. Remember, this bishop here has moved a couple of times already. He's back in his original square. He lost a ton of tempos. I'm on rook a to e8. And he went f4. I got to give it to him. I mean, he's going all out. Maybe he's just disgusted and he's just throwing pieces up. And of course, you see what I did. And whenever you move a pawn, remember, you always leave a space behind. When he went to f4, he left the g3 space unguarded. Bang. Goes my knight. Now I'm a piece up already. A full piece. He doesn't even have a pawn for it. So now I'm going to be up the exchange. And a piece. Queen to f2. I played knight takes rook. And he played queen takes rook. Now I looked at this. And I saw this combination. It's not a really deep combination, but it might be tough to see if you're not looking for it. This pawn is pretty far up with no protection. His king is wide open here. And actually the computer gave me an exclamation point for this move, so I'm like, yay me, because I never get an exclamation point from the computer. Even after those double question marks when the computer was being a little, as the English say, a little cheeky. I played knight takes d4. I saw a combination where I'm going to pick up at least 2 pawns, if not 3. And I'm feeling pretty good at this point. It's the only piece on the queen side, and I can pick up some really strong pawns. You're going to see in a minute here. He plays c takes. I play queen takes check. Now you see I have this rook on this file. I'm going to end up winning this pawn. He can't take now because this rook will take his queen. So I'm going to get 3 pawns, which, considering I was already up a piece and the exchange, I think I'm doing pretty well. He moves king to h1, and I took the third pawn with the rook. Oop. And I'm thinking to myself, oh man, I've got it made now. But just don't blow it. You know, us amateur players and average players, we have a tendency to do that. I didn't want. I'm up to exchange. I got 3 pawns for the piece. I'm doing okay. He goes knight to f3. Now he wants to bring his pieces around. Finally, you see the discovered attack against the rook. And I thought about this for a while too. I'm doing pretty well material-wise. What do I do here? What would you do here as black? I mean, let's stop and take a look at the position. These 2 bishops are just raking right down. I mean, he can't move this bishop. He loses this pawn. I mean, it's pretty dismal. The only thing I don't have yet, I don't have the rook over here. What I decided to take was an exchange sacrifice, and I got another exclamation point from the computer. That's 2 in the same game. I don't think it's ever happened ever. I played rook takes f3. I did the exchange sacrifice. He can't take with the queen. Well, he can take with the queen. He takes with a pawn. I mean, his king side is just ravaged. He played queen takes. And I played rook to f8. Chasing his queen away. Now, I'm picking up another tempo. I mean, he's kind of in trouble here, and you're going to see. He is so weak around his king on the dark squares, right? He moved queen to a3, and I went, oh boy, I've got him. I've got him. The game is basically over now, and you'll see why in a second. I played rook f1 check. His queen isn't back here anymore to guard it, save him. And you can see this coming. King to h2. And here comes my bishop. Bishop e5, check. His f-pawn is gone. If he moves pawn here, queen mates. So he decides to put the bishop, the one that's moved through 3 times, just sacrifice him. Now at this point, I was surprised he didn't resign. A little disappointed. Bishop takes check. And he moved his queen in the way. Thinking to myself, come on, man. You know, you think he's going to pick up the rook? I mean, he basically has no pieces left. But you didn't see this. Because even if I took check, king takes, I mean, I'm going to move my rook. Mate in the corner. Checkmate. Queen to g1 mate. You don't see that very often. And I was happy. I remember when I mated him, I went over and stopped the clock and shook his hand. And he was a good sport. I think, you know, it's funny. I do the same thing when you're losing, and losing fairly badly. The logical part of your brain knows the game is over and you should resign. But the emotional part of your brain doesn't want to give up. And I think that's what happened to him. I don't think it was poor sportsmanship. I just think he just wasn't ready to resign yet. So there it is, round 1. I'm pretty happy. Worked pretty hard in my convenience store. I took an extra day off on Friday the day before, so I'd have to rest up a little bit. And round 1, I'm just happier than heck. You know, I haven't really played a serious game in a very long time. And thanks for watching. I hope that you all enjoyed it. I want to thank all my new subscribers. In the last couple of months, I picked up quite a few. Thank you. And you haven't subscribed, please do. And if you would click the like button on the video, that would be awesome. I would appreciate it. And I want you to remember what I always say at the end of my videos. If you think chess is just a game, you're not playing it right. Take care, folks. Bye-bye.
No. Vous allez voir ta tête?